Hey, everybody, I kind of wanted to show this game I made that has some UI elements. It's also got some AI. It's really good for beginners. So here you can like choose the fish you want. So say you choose like a blue tang here. You get it, and then I should probably start the game with that, but we can fix that in the code. And then you've got kind of these fish that have some AI. They can move around. You've got the shark chasing you. You try to get big enough to where you can eat the shark, right? But if the shark gets you, the game is over. So you just kind of keep getting bigger. Um, yeah, we've got a couple variables here, as you can see, size and player character, but just a really simple game. And then let me kind of just show how I coded it up. So let me go ahead and just grab like a fresh scratch here. Cool. And then what we can see, let me just make sure we're on the right one. Yeah, I think we are. Okay, so what we can see is we see kind of scratch cat here. We can go ahead and delete that. Right. And then let's just start with we're gonna need kind of a fish that moves around. So I'm just gonna close this. Okay, so and then maybe we choose a backdrop so we can just get whatever underwater one you want. I think I chose this one, or whichever one you like. So you got that. And then let's go ahead and add a fish. And with this fish, you have multiple options. So when you do the choose a fish, there's actually four different fish you can choose from. So you can make it more. I just kind of was hacking it together really fast, but you could reduce the size here and everything. But the first thing you want to know how to do is move this fish around. So we can start with events, right? And again, programming is a lot of it is event driven. Like an event happens and your program works. So we've got left and we've got right. Okay. And then what we want to do is with up, I think it's as simple as you can use Y here. You don't want to set, you want to change, right? We want to change Y by 10 and then down -10. Okay, and you can use X, but since we're not rotating, we can also use move. So we should be able to go down and up, and we can just use move on this. Since we're not going to be rotating the fish. If you do, make sure to use X, but right here it's fine. So left, -10, right, +10. And as we can see, we're kind of going back and forth. We're going to want to flip it. So I really like to just duplicate and then clown, fish, flipped. Okay, so pretty simple. And then what you do, you flip it, make sure to do that. And then you could just switch the costume to the correct one. So we could say looks and then switch costume right here when we go left to the flipped. And then just make sure to switch back to the regular clownfish when you want. So that's kind of how that goes. So you can just kind of have this fish that moves around. I'm going to add a feature to where if we go over, we kind of reset at the other side, just to make it feel like it's more open. So for now, we can use when flag is clicked. Okay. And then we could just forever detect if we're going over the edges. So I'm going to do 4 if statements here, one for top, bottom, left, right. And what we'll do is this, we'll say, okay, well, if you're X, and we can see that X is right here. It looks like the max is like 250. So we can go a little bit lower than that and then go to our operators here and say, okay, if your X is greater than 200 and let's say 45, let's hop it to this side. Okay, so we can just go through it, but we're gonna need like less than another one of these and then another less than for later. So I'm gonna grab those. But then we just get the X position. Okay, so if the X position of this actor, which is this fish, goes over 245, let's set it to 240, -240. So we can go here and then let's hard set the X to -240. Okay, so we can test that. And as we can see, it just pops over there. So it feels a little bit more natural. Okay, and then let's just find the min. Let's be kind of methodical. So -253 again. Let's do -245. And then we can set the X to a +240. Okay, and so now we've got this ability 2, and I don't know what I did here. But now we've got this ability to kind of move back and forth. So I think there's an interference here. So it's greater than set x to if x position is less than. So, oh, we need to click the green flag. Okay, cool. So there we go. We've got that working. We do the same with the y. So same thing. And if you want to pause it, try it, but find the max on the y. Okay, if it goes over 2, and then I can just say 175. Okay, if y position, and we're going to need the y position here as well, over 175, we can change the y to, and then we can then say like negative 170. Okay, and then we can check here if we want to be, oh, it's not going to be negative 170. Let's check them 180. So then, yeah, no, that should be right. Let's see. So we hop here. Why is it going to 0? Change. Oh, we want to set. Negative 170. Okay. I was really confused there. So if y position then is less than, and we can find the min here again, 181 is the min. So let's just keep the same numbers, negative 175. We can set the y to a positive 170. So as you can see, we just have this, and just make sure to click the green flag. We have this now actor that can kind of move all over the place. We can add food if we want, but I think our best bet, honestly, is just to kind of add a little bit of AI fish. I think that's better than just fish food. So let's go ahead and draw some. So if you want to just make fish food, that's fine. It'll be like this, but a lot easier. But let's go ahead and do this just because I think it's fun to make things kind of have AI. So whoops. Um, I bet we can. And so I'm terrible at graphic design, obviously. So here we go. I'm gonna make, oh my gosh, that's so bad. I think I'm overthinking this, but I'm gonna try to make a fish here. Um, okay, and then maybe I use this tool to make like a little thing here. And then let me just make it black. Okay, I'm just gonna make this little black fish. Maybe I put in a little, do I do this for white? Okay. Uh-oh, no, 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 no. Okay. Can I redo it? No. Why are we? I'm so confused on why it started to do all of that. I did not want any of that to happen. Um, okay, so I'm gonna try again. All right. And then let's make I wanted to make the body black and then add like a dot for the eye. That's all I wanted. So a little dot here. Cool. And then, you can make it smaller size. So we could do 20 or something. Oh no, that's a little too small. Let's like do 40. Okay, cool. Now we have to make it to where if the fish hits it, um, it maybe like eats it, makes the size go up. But first, let's make it kind of move around. So right now, let's just do when green flag is clicked. Okay. And then we can just say this. We can do forever. All right. And then we could say this. Let's have this. We'll use an if else. And we're going to say, let's patrol randomly. If we get close to the fish, let's move away from the fish. Okay. So kind of like a state machine there. All right. Like we're going to go randomly. And if not, um, if the fish is close to us, we're going to move away. So the way we do that is we could probably measure distance. So here in sensing, we can say distance to fish. And then we can use our operator. I like to do maybe less than 150. So, hey, if you see the fish near you, make sure to turn around. So turn 180 degrees and just swim away. So I'm just going to do move like one step. Okay. So let's test that. And it looks like that's a little bit rough. We don't want it to keep rotating. So we do want to, whoops, we want to point towards the fish. So let's do that. Let's point towards the fish. Okay, and then yeah. So that way it knows which way. Okay, perfect. So now it's kind of moving away. But we also want it to kind of have like a random patrol sequence. So what I like to do is I like to just say, hey, point in a direction that's random, and you could do 1 through 360. That's not bad. So 1 through 360. Yeah. And then we could then say repeat, maybe you could do 10 times, but 30 times is kind of what I've liked. And then we could say move 2 steps. Okay. And then just you can add an if on edge bounce. Because I found that that helps. So we can then, if I can find if on edge bounce, I think it's somewhere here. Here we go. So you can add this one. Okay, and then you can also add if on edge bounce here. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now you've got like this AI, it randomly patrols. We can make different clones. So say you want like 3 or 4, we can make clones. I think there's like a little thing here. One sec. I'm gonna go to the costume of this guy. There's like a little white dot here. So I'm gonna erase that. Uh-oh. Does that work? Okay, cool. Awesome. So we've got that. Now we've got to make it to where if the fish eats it, we increase in size. Let's do that. So we have to add another piece of logic here. Okay, and then it won't be inside the if, right? So let's do this. Boom, and then we could just stack it. Okay, so the other if is like if it's touching the fish. You can use distance, and I think I like to do that with the shark better. But with this, I just like to do touching. You can choose whatever sound you want. So if you want the chomp sound, you can just do this and you get a chomp sound. So we can go ahead and say, hey, play that sound, chomp. If you're touching the fish, go to a random position. And then I like to make it disappear for a little bit, maybe 3 seconds. So go to looks and get a hide and a show. And then from control, you could go wait. So you could say, hey, wait 3 seconds to show back up. So we can do this and it eats it. Okay. Should show up in 3 seconds. Perfect. All right. Awesome. But maybe we want more fish. It's as simple as this. We can, and I think we should add this go to random position, but we can say, hey, when we start the game, create a couple clones. So if you want 3 fish, add 2. If you want like 4, however many you want. But then it's just this easy. You can then right click and duplicate this and just give them the same code. So let's click play. And there you've got three fish. It's called Sprite 1. You can call it food. You can call it whatever you want. But one thing you do want to add is the ability for this fish to get bigger. So let's add that. I made a variable. Okay, I made a variable to hold size. So we're going to make a variable. And remember, variables hold a piece of memory in the computer. In this case, we're going to hold a number. So number is going to be size. And for now, let's make the size of this equal to the size of the fish. So let's bind them together. So we can do that by going to this forever loop. Okay. And then we can just basically set the size at the beginning, I think. So let's do it this way. Let's set size to, and it's 50 now, but let's do like 40. Okay. And you can even do like 30, whatever you're feeling. Okay. And then in the looks, there's a set size too. Always just say, hey, just forever set it to this size. So we're going to click play. Size becomes 35. It's there. And then what we could do is do this. We can say, hey, if you eat this, change the size as well. So change, if you're touching fish, change size. And we don't want to wait 3 seconds to do it. So let's do it at the beginning so that we get the points right away. So let's change size. We could do by 5. So then let's see how this looks. And whatever number you want, but okay, so there we're getting bigger here. So we see we eat these fish and we get bigger, which is cool. So even here, like this is a pretty decent game, but we're gonna want to add kind of a losing condition. So I think let's add a shark, and I really like this shark right here because it's got some good animations here that I like to use. But let's reduce the size because I think it's way too big, and I think it would look good if the shark starts over here. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm just gonna say when we start the game make the shark go to this position. And I don't usually it has that position for you, but okay, it's not gonna want to copy paste. I'm just gonna do it like this. And then 169, maybe I do like 180 or something. Let's see how that looks, if that exists. Okay, cool. So let's move the shark there. And we can even hide it for a little bit or make it wait for a couple seconds before it just comes at you. But we can then just forever, we want to move towards the fish, right? So we can not go to fish. We want to point towards the fish and then move, right? We don't want to like teleport to the fish. So it'll wait 2 seconds and then it's going to move. That's really, really fast. So then maybe we do 2 steps. Okay. Um, so we move 2 steps and it should slowly move, but we definitely want um, you know, it to be able to eat us. So we want to do that. And yeah, what else? We do want to say if we're bigger, then we can eat the shark as well. But for now, I think this is good. We're just gonna move towards the fish. But let's go ahead and then detect if it's close. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna switch the costume. So I really like this costume of this being bigger. So let's use our distance here, and we can use an if else, I think here. So let's use an if else. Okay. And I'm just gonna pop these towards the bottom because this is a different thing. And we can say distance to. So I'm gonna pause this. Distance to the fish. And I've kind of experimented with this, but we'll go to operators, my bad. And we can say distance to the fish, let's say less than 100. We can kind of switch the costumes around, okay? So this is the regular one. This is the one that's bigger. So let me just show you what I'm thinking. I'm gonna make its mouth kind of go bigger when it's close to you. So I think 100 was the right thing, but yeah, let me show you. So we click here, and then that's kind of a little bit too soon, maybe. So we can adjust. Not too bad. Or did I get these mixed up? Yeah, I got these mixed up. My bad. We want this to be B and this to be A. My apologies. So let's try again. And then, yeah, as it goes closer, it gets bigger. Cool. Nice. And then maybe like right there, and that's like at about 40 is what I had it last time. We could do game over. Right. So let's add same thing. Okay. We can then say if, okay, and then distance to fish is less than 40. Yeah. So let's throw this away. If distance to fish is less than 40, let's switch the costume back so that it looks like it's biting us, right? A mouth closed. And then we could play, I think we have the bite sound already. Cool. We have bite and chomp. So we can play whatever sound you want. Bite might be better. And then just maybe we could just make this the losing condition. So we can tell the shark to say game over. Okay, and then maybe we just stop the game for now. And we can polish this as we go, but it's good to just kind of have a losing condition early. So we've got this so far. And then I think what we can do is we can do the winning condition here too. So we can say, hey, but if you get bigger than the shark, right? Then you win. Okay, so then let's just do that really quickly. I'm gonna just do if, okay, and then we could just do this operator here. And then we could do if the shark size, and maybe we should have named this variable fish size because it's a little bit confusing, but we know this purple shark size is less than fish size, and let's use an if else. Okay, so either it's going to be bigger or it's not. But if it is bigger, let's make the shark look scared with this one. I mean, I just interpret that as the shark being scared. He might not be scared there. He might just be, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, maybe he's scared. And then maybe we could even say like, don't eat me, so that the user knows, hey, I can eat this shark. And then we can do our trick like we did with the AI. We can point towards the fish, okay, but then we rotate him 180 degrees and move. Yeah, and move. And the reason we want the else is because or else patrol. So we're doing the same thing. We're using like a kind of I would consider this a finite state machine in a way. So that's great. That's fantastic. Okay, so let's just pop that here, I think would be a good place. So yeah, that's not bad. Um, yeah. So we can eat stuff. And it's your call if you want to make the shark be able to rotate like this. I think it's good so that we could use it against the shark. But you do this, and then let's see. I think we need to get to 75 because we have the shark at 75. But let's see. We're almost there. If we just eat. Oh my gosh, I don't want to lose. Okay. Ah, okay. And then okay, and then I think I need one more. I need to be bigger. So okay, don't eat me. Right. So then you can make it to where you eat them and then you win. Yeah, so if you could do like an if inside of an if here. So you could say if size. I think that's the best way to do it. So then you'd move this down like that. And then you could say if touching, right? If then touching the fish, you could just say you win, right? So you could stop all and maybe say like, okay, that that works. So this is like a really simple game and this would work, right? But I kind of want to do some UI because I think the UI would be cool. Like select your fish. Like we've got these four costumes. And I think it'd be cool to be like, hey, do you want to be a clownfish? Do you want to be a blue tank? Do you want to be an angelfish? Do you want to be whatever this fish is, right? So you could choose that. So for that, you could make an actor. Okay. So this is kind of a little bit tough. But the way I did this was I created a new actor. Okay, or a sprite, I guess is what it's called in here. And then I just made another costume. Now, if you want to, um, we can paint one. We just okay, costume one, costume two, and you could just remember that. You could do clownfish costume or however you want to do that. But what you can do, I think, is you can just copy paste actually. So I think you can select like this, like click and drag, and you can actually copy, which is really cool, and then just paste it here. Awesome. So you have this, okay, and then whoopsie, make sure to select it all. You kind of have this. You can put it in the middle, and then you can have like just for decoration if you want. I add like a little thing. Maybe we go black. I like black. So here we go. We can do black and then just make sure to move that towards the back and you've got that. Okay. And then what you can do is the same thing. I'm just going to do it for two sprites because um it gets a little bit it'll take a little bit of time to do all of them and it just gets a little bit tedious to do a GUI. So I'm just going to show you how to, and then that should be enough. So again, we do the same thing. We could just, whoopsie, we could just highlight all of this and copy and then, paste it. You're going to want to do this flipped in a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well, but you're going to want to paste here. Um, and then you can make it bigger if you want. I don't know. And then you want these to be the same size, honestly. So just try to do that. And maybe I messed this up a little bit, but you want to be kind of precise with UI, which is why it's kind of it is a tedious thing sometimes. So just keep that in mind, but just going to do black here, move it to the back. And now we've got these two costumes. I think one of the, see, this is the problem, is one of these is like way bigger. So that's going to cause problems. So you just try to do it. But here we've got both the costumes. And then what we want to do is we want to make like the beginning of the game say choose your fish, right? So let's just make a really simple backdrop, and we could use backdrop 1 here. And then we could just say choose your fish. Okay, maybe you do it in blue or whatever, but this will be the backdrop. So then we can do yeah. We can then do that. And so that's the backdrop for now. Let's start coding it. Okay, and then what we'll do is this will be the actual place where we start the game logic. Okay, so I'm just gonna actually just get it all done. So we got this. Boom. Let's go ahead and actually show it because we're gonna hide everything to clean everything up. So this is gonna be what we want to show. And then we're gonna switch our backdrop to backdrop 1, which will be like the choose your fish or whatever. And then let's make the size of this reasonable. So we could say like 80 or something. Sounds good. So we've got this. Okay. And I kind of want the clownfish first. Cool. So we've got clownfish. And what I like to do is we can kind of duplicate it and move it all the way there. But I do want to say, okay, when we start the game, move it to this position. So negative 129, let's do it exactly how it is. And then positive 52. Okay, so like when we start the game, it just pops right there. Perfect. Okay, so that's good. And then I want to switch costume. Okay. Let's see. Switch costume to costume 1. Okay, and then we're gonna create a clone of ourselves. And then switch that. Okay, and then so if you're gonna do multiple of these, you probably want to use a repeat 3 to do this, but you could also do it one step at a time. I'm doing it one step at a time just to make it simple. So this one's going to be 115 and 57, and I'm getting that from over here because I want it to be like clownfish and then blue tang or like Dory. So I'm going to click play and we get both of those. Awesome, cool. So now let's just do like a simple hover event. So we can say forever, okay, and then we could grab an if else. If mouse pointer, okay, we can then set this effect called ghost, which is what I like. So change set. So we're gonna want to set ghost to, and you could do like 50% or 70%. I like 50, but as you can see, now we get this, but I don't know why we're not getting. So we have the forever if. Oh, we're going to need to do it when I start as a clone as well. So let's add that to our clone. My apologies. So we're going to do when I start as a clone, and then let's add the forever ifs here. And for now, I'm actually just going to unplug this code because we're going to do this all with a different event. So I'm just going to unplug this and then we're going to wrap up this game really fast. So look, we can see here. I don't, there it is. So we want to change ghost back to 0. So look, we're going to click play. All right, you choose your fish. Now we're going to make a variable. Let's make a variable to hold which fish we do. Um, player character, right? And then you can hide this, and I recommend you do that. I'm not for instructional purposes, but it is what it is. So we're gonna set this player character to the right one. I'm gonna set it here just to keep everything choose character. Just just to make sure everything is good. So if it's choose character, we know that that's not acceptable and we can't move on, but that's okay. And so what we do then is we can then say when sprite is clicked. So when sprite is clicked, okay, and then we can actually check costume number. Okay, that's how I'm going to do it. So we can say two ifs, and then we're not going to need a forever because it just detects with our click, which is nice. But we can then say equals is what we'll use for the operator. And then we've got costume number 1 and costume number 2 is how it's done. You'll have to just kind of memorize that, which costume you're on, but there is a costume number here. So costume number 1, costume number 2. So we know that like costume 1 is the clownfish, right? Costume 2 is the other one. So let's set our variable, set our player character to the correct one. So player character, clownfish, cool player character, blue ting, awesome. And then we can switch the backdrop here. So we're done. We did our thing. We can switch our backdrop and then start the game. Yeah. And then we can actually use the event when we switch to backdrop 1. Let's go ahead and forever hide this. We don't ever want to see this UI again, right? So forever hide it. Okay. So let's just take a look at how that looks. Click play. Um, all right. Let's see what we're doing wrong here. So switch to backdrop 1. We click play. We get this normal backdrop. And then I think it says hide. I'm gonna show this. Stop. I'm gonna show this and click play. I think it says hide. Oh, that's so silly. Underwater. Oh my gosh. So I'm turning the computer's gears. Okay, make sure this is to underwater, or else it's just gonna hide everything. So here we have this, and then we can choose, and now we have the clownfish as the player character. Now we have to tell the computer whether they chose clownfish or Dory. I'm gonna go ahead and go to fish 2. I need to give Dory flipped version. So let's go ahead and just do blue ting flipped. Okay, and then just flip it. And again, you could do this with the other ones. It's your choice. But we could just flip horizontal here and we get that. But what I would do now is we now need to modify this code to be a little cleaner. So we need to get rid of this because we're not going to use when green flag is clicked here. We're going to use our new event, which is when it switches to underwater 1. So when we switch to underwater 1, we can show, and we can even do when green flag is clicked, hide. That might not be bad. So when green flag is clicked, hide might be the event, but then we show it when we start the game. Okay, and then we can move the fish to the middle just to make everything kind of a little bit better. Okay, so that's looking good, but we're gonna want to tell the computer, okay, what character are we? Okay, so then we could just use if statements here. All right, so I put it on the right and left arrow. You want to start it probably sooner than that, but I think it should be pretty straightforward on how to do it from there. So I would just add ifs depending on what player character we have. Okay, and then we're gonna need our equal signs. Okay, and we're gonna need like four of these, but we could just duplicate it. And then we could say clown, fish, and duplicate this. And then blue, tang, and duplicate that. Okay, and then we could just, basically say, hey, do the right costume. So for this one, we'll switch costume to clownfish flipped, switch costume to blue tang flipped, switch costume to fish A, switch costume to blue tang flipped. Whoopsie, sorry, clownfish flipped. Okay, and this would be okay, my bad. This is clownfish, and so this would be fish A. This is the blue tang, so this is gonna be fish B. My bad. Okay, and then we're just gonna plug our variable into it. So player character equals clownfish. Okay. All right. So that's kind of how we would do. So we do that, and then cool, and then we could click play, and then we choose Nemo, but then it's not gonna go until we do it. So then maybe we add this if statement. We just pop it here. So if, and then yeah, hide. No, we're not gonna want it there. Sorry. Let me redo this. So we're just gonna want to hide, but this we do kind of want to duplicate. But let's do when we switch, depending on what we have. So yeah, we could just grab this one. My bad. This is no, I don't want that. Okay, go away. Why is why is it doing all that? Okay, I just want to duplicate this, man. Okay, and then we can show it and then do that. I think that would be the best. And then if it equals blue ting, it should be okay. Cool. Let's see. Let's see. So we're being super tedious here, but yeah. So that's looking good. So you got like a good UI there, which is cool. Yeah, and then you're just gonna want to, I would say, whoops, let's do this. Let's do the hide here, and then just use the correct event here. So we just do events when we switch to underwater. Okay, and then same here. We would probably want to do a hide here. Okay, and then do the same event when we switch to underwater. So that's it. Like that's I think a perfectly reasonable game. And then you can add the other fish if you want, but you click it, and then we should be, oh, we're gonna want to show everything. So let's do it. We're so close. Okay, so let me just add the show. My bad, guys. So uh let's go ahead and show everything. So we show, and then we're gonna want to show. I don't know if we show the clone. I think it should show automatically, but let's see. Okay, cool. All right, this is looking good. So yeah, we got it. We got it to work. So we got this, and then that player character is the only thing that might be kind of something that you don't really need the user to know. That's kind of a development variable. So we could just click on this variables and then just take out that player character. So then you've only got size. But yeah, that's a perfectly reasonable game to make. You got some AI in there, you got some UI in there, some if statements, all that stuff. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.